In January 2026, Trackmania didn't just release a new campaign, it rewrote the rules for its hardest tracks. For the first time, the 5 black maps aren't just brutally difficult, they each have their own distinct identity. A signature challenge that players learn to master and spectators love to watch, wrapped in stunning visual themes inspired by real countries around the world. This is the story of Trackmania's boldest evolution yet, turning campaign grinding into real competitive training. Welcome to the new black tracks of Winter 2026. Trackmania's 2020 seasonal campaigns have always been the heart of the game. 25 new tracks every 3 months divided by difficulty: white, green, blue, red, and the infamous black tracks at the very end. For years, black tracks were the ultimate test for dedicated players, punishing, technical, and often disconnected from the competitive scene. Only the most hardcore grinders ever saw them. But with the massive Winter 2026 update, everything changed. Nadeo made a game-changing decision. The black tracks from the official campaigns are now the official competitive pool. They feed directly into the Cup of the Week, Elite Cup, and even qualified players for the Esports World Cup and Esports Nations Cup on both PC and console. And to unlock them, you now only need 10 gold medals from the easier tracks instead of 20. Suddenly, every player grinding the campaign is training on the exact same maps the pros will race on. As Nadeo put it, black tracks are now inspired by previous esports routes, offering clear and distinct challenges, track identities, for players to master and spectators to enjoy. So what exactly is a track identity? It's 2 things working together. First, the mechanical identity. Each black track features a standout challenge, often near the end, directly inspired by legendary esports routes from Trackmania's competitive history. These moments define the map's character, whether it's a finicky tech route, a unique floor break, or a high-skill combo that makes you say that's the one. Second, the visual identity. Every black track is themed after a real country, with custom scenery, lighting, and atmosphere that gives it unforgettable flavour. No more generic difficulty, now each map has personality, something you can remember, something you can cheer for when a pro nails the identity section on stream. This is Trackmania bridging the gap between casual campaign fun and serious esports like never before. Let's take a look at the 5 black tracks of Winter 2026. Track 21 is China, tropical Asian vibes with stunning blue bay vistas. This one brings back a remade Bicycle style identity, precision tech that rewards perfect lines and punishing mistakes. Many players call it soul crushing, but incredibly satisfying once it clicks. The identity for the first black map is a super difficult 180 ice turn with turbo boosters, just to add that extra level of difficulty. It's incredibly difficult to get right and makes for some intense competitive viewing. Track 22 is France, European valley scenery, often described as the most fun to drive of the bunch. Its identity section is a standout challenge right before the finish, technical yet flowing, with a reputation for being relatively more accessible while still feeling pro level. France's identity is a series of half-pipe jumps, most of which have been cut in the world record. Not too difficult, but you have to go off the right part at the top of the ledge to make it work. A smooth run is imperative to an AT time. Track 23 is USA, dramatic canyon and Hollywood landscapes from the new Red Island Vista, high-speed spectator moments and a signature challenge that demands aggressive positioning and clean landings. Early community feedback says this one is the best to watch. The identity for the USA is a technical 90-degree section at the end of the track, a series of difficult and narrow turns that make the ending of the track so incredibly important. One simple mistake and the run is over. As you can see with the 2 tracks next to each other, they're almost identical, but the side corners have been filled in with a slight triangle on the USA map. Track 24 is Brazil, lush, energetic scenery that pops on screen. Its identity brings a unique floor break with reactor-heavy sections that cause some early bugs, but once fixed, it rewards creative driving and big speed gains. The key parts for Brazil are the massive plastic overturn and the technical water section at the end. Track 25 is Greece, the grand finale with a beautiful Mediterranean flair. Longest of the black tracks at around 1 minute 18 off a time. Its epic identity section closes the campaign on a high note, testing everything you've learned across the season. These maps also showcase 4 brand new vistas: White Shore, Green Coast, Red Island, and Blue Bay, giving the entire campaign a fresh, worldly feel. Now that we're all familiar with the new black tracks, I thought we'd take a look at the original tracks that they came from. China's identity is taken from a map called Bicycle. You can see by these side-by-side world records that the identity is pretty much one-for-one remake. It's really cool going back to these original maps and seeing where the origin of the new black maps came from. France's OG map is called Half Pipe and features the same half pipe section that you've seen in the run so far. These side-by-side shots show how familiar the half pipes actually are, although on the original track they're much more shallow. The map feature for the new USA map is called Fantanio. Looking at these 2 records next to each other shows how familiar the blocks really are. It's really cool to see how the original map has been featured in the new ones. The OG map featured for Brazil is called Surf, and still features an intense water section at the end, although it used to have a fragile block which was absolutely mental. All of the identities from the new black maps are taken from original TMGL maps. All of these are multi-lap maps with 6 to 8 minute alpha times. A bit of an indirect thank you to Mudder, because I had to go to a video of his to figure out where these maps actually came from, so big up Mudder for actually knowing where the original maps are from. The reaction from the community has been huge and mixed in the best way. Some call the black tracks absolutely soul crushing, others are hitting the overtimes faster than expected thanks to the new practice maps and lower unlock requirements. On the esports side, these tracks now create a clear path from campaign grinder to international competitor. Regular players can qualify for EWC and ENC online stages, while pros get fresh, spectator-friendly maps every season. Minor balance updates have already been applied to prevent cuts and crashes, showing Adeo is committed to keeping them fair for competition. It seems this isn't just a campaign update, it's Trackmania investing in its future as a true esport while keeping the fun alive for everyone. The new identities aren't just harder tracks, they're Trackmania's boldest step yet toward blending the joy of campaign racing with real competitive depth. So load up Winner 26, hunt those overtimes and check out the identities for yourself. Because in the latest Trackmania season, the track doesn't just test you, now it has a personality all of its own. Yo, thanks for watching, man. Which black track identity is your favourite? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next campaign.